Barrier shelters are considered the first steps to getting chronically homeless people off the streets. But according to Preble Street in Portland, low barrier shelters are working with a $4 million yearly deficit.
As our Jack Malmid shows us, the lack of funding could shut down some shelters that are already desperately needed.
You've been here for a few weeks?
Yeah.
The smoke of a warm fire. Outside, it's just 20 degrees. Jimmy Dollar joined the group of more than 100 tents along the Harborview encampment after his spot on Marginal Way was swept by the city.
We barely can move to do anything. We can barely function.
And the heat of the fire is all he can hope on. But with conditions so bad, it begs the question. What's keeping you from going to the city shelter? Jimmy tells us the curfew to get to the city-run shelter on Riverside Street is too strict as he works during the night.
This is kind of a life and death service.
For Preble Street Executive Director Mark Swan, he wants more funding for shelters that can take people on just like Jimmy.
It's a very, very fragile group of people. We need to have it fully staffed. We need to have trained professional staff. There needs to be clinical supervision.
Shelters that have low barriers, such as allowing you to go when you have a drug addiction or have a pet. These shelters are few and far to come by, such as Elena's Way in Portland, Milestone, and Hope House in Bangor.
It's a real serious program.
This is because Maine's low barrier shelters are behind by $4 million every year.
The state and others could step in and say, you know, we're going to prioritize this and make sure these stay open and people are safe.
Swan says they want the state to do just that because right now,
the local, state, and federal government has primarily assumed that, you know, private charity can support some of these programs.
And that's not working. He says some shelters could shut down as soon as next year.
And it seems like they're doing everything they can against us.
And for Jimmy Dolliff, he hopes that funding can come soon and welcome people just like him as propane tanks and the fires burn and the grip of winter tightens.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cold.
In Portland, Jack Mullen, News Center.